Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. This is Any Kind Media. We are your hosts. My name is Oceans Tubiano.
I'm Taylor Vieira.
And today, ladies and gentlemen, special day. It's a little bit of a milestone for us. Today is the 50th episode of our show, Our Take, here on Any Kind Media. And we're I don't know, I'm super stoked to be here, man.
It's crazy.
It's kind of...
It flew by.
It's kind of nuts how fast we got to 50, right? Because the channel has only been here or been live for like 4 months now, I think.
Yeah, somewhere.
I think it was
there.
March, right, or April. No, it wasn't that. It was maybe, I don't know, somewhere around there.
Yeah, it's definitely around there.
It's like March or April that we launched the channel, and we've been kind of grinding away every weekend, and it's pretty nuts to see where it's come from. Our very first episode, our intro, and episode 1, which was, oh man, what was episode 1?
I feel like
I know it's not Rings of Power, because Rings of
Boba
Power is
Fett.
actually number 3.
I think it's Book of Boba Fett.
I think it's Book of Boba Fett was our number 1, was our first episode. And then to now here at episode 50, and obviously the scenery's changed. The equipment has improved by far. Everything is kind of on its way up, and along with that, you guys are subscribers, and then also our view count. Although we may be small right now, for now, although we may be small, I'm pretty impressed with the viewership. At least.
So honestly, like the overall us as a channel, I'm actually really happy with how we've been.
Like the fact that we only have the only video, and out of now this would be 50 videos, the only video that has less than double digits views is episode what episode is this? I think it's 40 episode 34, Miss Marvel. This is the only one that doesn't have double digit views. Everything else has double digits. We have one video that is triple digits. Another one that's real close. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy to think that.
It's interesting.
People are even willing to listen to us talk about our very average. Our very average
honestly,
view,
like, even one person, like, I'm surprised.
Yeah, because we're not experts. We're not, we're not movie critics that have gone to school for this or anything. We're just two guys. We're just
two brothers.
We're just two guys that really enjoy movies, TV shows, and video games, and we're just trying to bring our point of view to the market. So thank you to you guys that have watched this, that continue to watch us, continue to comment on our videos. I mean, that to me is probably the biggest surprise, is the engagement we've gotten from people all over the world. It's nuts.
Just
like
random.
On the Elvis video, we got people from Europe. We've got people from Canada. Like, there's and they take the time out of their day to comment, and not just like a one word comment like loser or something like that, but like they put like a whole paragraph of all kinds of stuff. So I think that's really cool.
That's great.
So thank you to you guys. We appreciate you guys. We're gonna continue to grind this and continue to produce more and more content. We'd love to hear any feedback you guys have on anything to do with the channel or anything that we put out. We'd love to hear it. We thank you guys for being here. So without further ado, we'll get into our 50th episode here. This episode, we're going to be covering season 1 of Apple TV's original production, Ted Lasso. The season 1, it came out like 2019 or something like that, right?
I have no idea.
I think so. I think it came out like, and I think it came out kind of not a long time ago, but season 1. 2020. All right, 2020. But there's 2 seasons now.
Not too long ago.
Full disclosure, The reason why we're not doing both seasons is because I have not finished the second season. I haven't gotten there yet, and I really enjoy the show, so I don't want to be spoiled. So we're only going to cover season 1. Again, we'll do it in traditional fashion. We'll talk about it spoiler free first, give our honest review, and then a score, and then dive into some spoilers. So, honest review. Taylor, don't even think you knew about this show before I told you about it, right? Or you maybe have heard.
I've heard the name, but I didn't look into it until after we talked about it.
Okay. And now that I told you to watch it, and you watched just based off of the first season, how do you feel?
Right, because after the first season, I'm glad that you brought this show up because I actually enjoyed it quite a bit.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. This is a show that I was being told by 4 different people to watch, including our producer, my father, and uncle, all kinds of different people. They kept bringing it up, and the concept in my mind just didn't seem like something I was really going to be too interested in. You know, the idea of a American football coach, American college D2 football coach, going over to Europe to coach a Premier League soccer league. It didn't It sounds like a cool story, but it just didn't grab me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was hesitant to watch it. Didn't really do anything or do any research into it at all until one day. There's really just nothing else that I wanted to watch. I was scrolling through all the different, how you go from Amazon to Netflix.
Yeah, this is one of the ones that pops up on the main featured things for Apple.
I just kept scrolling through and I just couldn't find anything else. I was like, what the hell? Give it a shot. It's only 30-minute episodes, so I was like, all right.
That was honestly the most refreshing thing about this show is that it's the 30 minutes instead of an hour and a half, 2 hours.
And I like the 30-minute episodes because there's a lot of sitcoms and comedy shows that are the 20-minute range because they had to be within a 30-minute time frame, right? Like Family Guy, South Park, all that stuff. And those are funny, but I like the 30 minutes. I like 30 minutes because it's long enough to feel like you got somewhere in the story, but not so long that you feel like you're wasting your evening away by watching a couple episodes.
I don't know, to me, because it's structured for aiming for 30 minutes, it just feels more concise in what it's trying to portray.
Yeah.
Instead of it being, extended and it's now you're trying to make all this backstory, whatever. And not that it doesn't have that, but it just feels more.
It seems like they're able to.
I don't know, just more focused.
Yeah, the pace feels better for 10 because it's 10 episodes in the first season. 10 30-minute episodes. The pace just seemed really well done.
Right.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I watched the first episode at I want to say it was 7 o'clock at night. One night I watched the first episode, and then I literally 10 minutes into the show I was hooked. I was like, all right, well, I'm about to binge watch this entire fucking season.
Yeah, it's funny. So we had finished another show that we're going to be reviewing, but we had finished that. We saw this. I was like, all right, Ocean mentioned this. I'm going to check it out. Which we typically watch whenever we're eating dinner or whatever.
Yeah.
And watched it, and I literally just kept going.
Yeah. I finished season 1 in one night.
Yeah, I did too.
I started at 7 o'clock at night one night.
Either that or I got to episode 9 or something, and then I was like, oh, it's too late or something. But I didn't want to stop.
I went to bed at 1 o'clock in the morning that night.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh my God, I got to finish this season. It was just one of those shows you're like, oh my God, I got it. Next episode. Just keep it going.
You want to keep going.
And then you kind of justify it well, it's only 30 minutes.
Right.
If I need to stop after that, I'll be fine.
It's not like every other show where it's do I really want to start that and I have to pause
hour,
and then get back to it later? No, you're just I can just rip through another 30 minutes.
Yeah. No, it's good enough, or is really good. Kept me engaged the whole time. I wasn't even getting tired. I could have watched season 2 right after if I.
Yeah, I gotta say too, the whole when you mentioned the whole I guess premise of it, it's not the idea that bothered me. To me, like especially for what it sounded like, the person who makes this show is gotta be the main character, and how I feel about him. Which in this case, it's great. Like I thought he did super well. Like the guy
Jason Sudeikis.
like playing as Ted Lasso,
Yeah.
was amazing. Because I feel like it's either gonna be, at least for me, is like kind of the make or break, because it's like it's either gonna be like really like cringy or just hilarious, and he's just funny.
Yeah.
I mean, there's it's actually very complex as a character and stuff, but
Yeah.
just initial like impression, like for me, like it had to nail it, and it did.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that. Ladies and gentlemen, I think that this is definitely a TV show that you should put on your list to watch.
Yeah, for sure.
And then if you don't have Apple Plus or TV or whatever the subscription is, this is definitely at the very least worth the trial, like activating your 7-day trial or whatever.
If you don't want to do that, just bootleg it from or something.
Because it's really like there's a couple other things on Apple TV, but I don't know if there's enough to be. I don't even know how much it is because I don't pay for it.
Yeah,
but
I
use somebody else's account.
I gotta say though, like if I did have to pay for it, I probably wouldn't have it. But not that there's nothing good on there. It's just I don't know. Nowadays it's kind of a hard sell.
It's hard, man. Everybody wants that piece of the pie.
Yeah, because I'm like right now I'm like so against all these companies making their own plans and stuff. And
to be fair, Apple TV has been around for a bit.
But
it's not an original.
I feel like
an OG.
I feel like
but it ain't no Paramount.
They've been really trying to pick it up with their newer stuff.
Now they're starting to do original content. With Jason Momoa's TV show.
Yeah.
Like
I said, the movie with Tom Hanks that I watched is pretty good too.
Oh, I did. That's right. I heard about that. But yeah, I definitely think you should, if you don't have the subscription, at least activate your 7-day free trial. And even if you were to pay for 1 month of it, I think it'd be worth it. In my opinion, I think like even if you just committed, I'm only gonna do 1 month. I'm gonna start it, pay for it.
You could that's plenty of time to watch everything.
It's plenty of time to watch it. Season 3 is confirmed. It will be coming out. I don't know when, but I know it is. But I think it's worth at least 1 month subscription for the show because I enjoyed it that much. I would have paid the $8 or whatever it is for to watch the show. So, definitely go check this out. Give it a watch. I think you'll really enjoy it. However, just be careful, like when you start it. Don't start it at 8:00 on a Wednesday night when you got work at 8:00 in the morning the next morning. Okay, unless you're just built different.
Yeah, if you have the control to like.
Either you gotta have like major discipline to be able to be like, all right, it's bedtime,
just
shut it
one
off.
Episode, just one. No.
There's no way you can do only one. I'd say like maybe 3, but
at minimum, 3 is a good amount. Well, I say minimum 2, but 3 is really what you want to get.
Or you're just young, because I'm too old to be staying up till 1:00 in the morning anymore.
Too much stuff to do.
Yeah. But give it a watch, guys. As far as rating goes, I'm going to give season 1 a 9 for myself. Really just because as far as like TV shows go, I haven't quite figured out what a 10 is for me yet.
Yeah, I could see that.
Because like movies, I got a pretty good handle of what I'm looking for in a 10. But as far as TV shows go, I think there's a little more complexity to it.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm gonna give it a 9. It's definitely gonna be the highest rated TV show that I've watched so far on this channel.
Yeah. For a season 1 for this show, I will agree as well and give it a 9.
Yeah, I think it's real solid, guys. It's worth the watch, I promise. And then we will be doing a season 2 review. Maybe next weekend. I don't know. It depends. Because we got some stuff we got to watch for this upcoming weekend. There's some stuff coming out. So we'll see. But there will be a season 2 review. And then when season 3 comes out, I guarantee you we'll have one on that as well. So that being said, ladies and gentlemen, if you have not seen the show yet, please go watch it first. I think you definitely want to watch it before you listen to our spoilers. Otherwise, it's going to it's going to kind of take away from it, or it's going to take away from it a lot. So go watch the show, check it out, and then come back, finish out this video with us. And ladies and gentlemen, this is your official
spoiler alert.
All right. I'm glad that you watched it. I was wondering if you were going to, if you're going to kind of be like me, because I kept putting it off. Because my brother's been telling me to watch this since like May. Because when we were in LA, he was talking about it because there's posters and stuff around Hollywood and stuff about it. So
yeah, because I think this show actually won.
Yeah, it won some Emmys.
Yeah.
So he kept telling me to watch it, and I was like, I don't know, dude. I don't know. But man, this show is, at least the first season. I'm really trying to separate the two because there is like season 2 is. I have some different thoughts.
I have a very different opinion on the second season. But
I have some different thoughts for season 2. But season 1, like just focusing on episode 1 through 10, it was so good.
Yeah, it was really good.
So good. Everything from the acting, the storyline, the twists and turns, and just the rawness of it, like the rawness and the simplicity of it was really, like you said earlier, was really refreshing. It was a really refreshing thing to watch because I wasn't sitting there trying to figure out if this lined up with this and that is, if they followed through on this yet or whatever. Like everything was just super simple. Everything is straightforward, and there's complexity here and there, but it's not like overloaded to the point where you're losing track of different storylines and stuff.
Sure.
It's I don't know. I really enjoyed it, and I thought that I don't think anybody does bad in it as far as acting.
No, I don't think so.
I think everybody plays their character the way that character should be played. And speaking of acting, I want to talk about one person in particular because I didn't know this before I started watching it, and my dad just told me about it the other day. Roy Kent, right? This guy right here, Roy Kent. He's in the beginning, he's the captain of the team. He's the star.
He's like the veteran.
Yeah,
player.
He's the veteran captain because he's won a championship in the Champions League, and then he came up to the Premier League, and he's well revered by fans and players.
He's there. He's
everywhere. Roy Kent. Roy Kent.
I love his song.
Both of the songs are dope. But did you know that the actor that plays Roy Kent is not actually an actor?
As in, like, he's a player?
He had no acting experience prior to the role. So what he is, I'm gonna find his name because I don't want to say this without saying his name because it's just demeaning. Brett Goldstein. He is at the beginning of this show, when the show first started out in like production and stuff. Brett Goldstein was a writer and a producer on the show. And they were, going through casting and whatnot, and they couldn't really find the right person to play Roy Kent. And so he was just like, I'll do it. Like, I feel like I can play him. And so he did a casting interview with the cast director, and he put on, Roy Kent wasn't supposed to be like this, like a little bit, but Brett Goldstein, according to what I was told by my dad, is that he like elevated, like he turned it up, like he turned up the Roy Kent factor.
Yeah,
he turned it
the
up.
Roy Kent effect.
Yeah, he turned it up to like 11 and made it like over the top, and they're like, oh my god, that's amazing, and then they just put him in the movie or in the show. So he had no prior. I mean, probably had some small stuff, but like this was
like his first official,
first like real big actual acting job, because he was normally on the crew, like he's a writer or a producer or something else. He's behind the camera usually.
That's crazy. That's great.
It's super crazy when you think, like, especially when I watched it first and then he told me that, because I thought like there is a little rough around the edges in the beginning, but then like his character really develops and smooths out over the course of the first season.
Yeah.
And then after the fact, finding out that like the reason it did that is because he's never acted before. Like that's super impressive to me.
Yeah, for sure.
Thought it was really cool.
He's actually one of my favorite
Oh, I
characters.
love
too.
Roy Kent.
Yeah.
He's so great. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, the show, like I said in the beginning, the rough synopsis is Ted Lasso, or Jason Sudeikis, this guy right here. He is a D2 college American football coach at Wichita State, I think is
I don't remember
the made up college or whatever, or it might not be made up. I don't know, but he is the coach, and then he wins a college title, and then he comes over to Europe to coach this soccer team, AFC Richmond, or football
club.
AFC Richmond, and the story starts out as him. You know, it's in the soccer world over in Europe. Like this is an insane thing that's happening. The fact that this manager, Rebecca, oh man, what's her last name? I don't remember.
I don't know.
Frick. Her first name is Rebecca.
Yeah.
But she's
Welton, I think.
Welton, yeah. She's the owner of the club. That she got the club in a divorce with her ex-husband.
Yeah.
Like how you would, like your wife would take your boat or your car or your house or whatever. She took the club, and she took over ownership, and so she decided to bring in this coach from America to coach her team. And it like blew up the soccer world. Like everybody was freaking out. Like, oh my God. What she wasn't expecting though was for Ted Lasso's just super charming and go-getter attitude to just win everybody over.
Well, see, the thing that's funny is, right, it's like when he first gets there, everybody kind of gives him a hard time, right?
Yeah.
Because he's just, like you said, American. Not even just, like, even if he was an American, like, soccer coach.
But he knows nothing about soccer.
Right. And you like, sure, that does make some sense, right? Like you kind of want to know the sport.
Yeah,
but
you
at
should
the
at
same
least know all
time,
the rules.
if you're a good coach, that's all that really matters. Like if you have like the fundamentals of being a coach,
right,
then you can pick up like the
which is
things.
what all of the people in the beginning seem to have forgot, right? Is that he wasn't there to teach anybody how to play soccer, because all the guys they're elite athletes.
Yeah.
They're top of the top. They know how to play soccer. He's there to coach them and to bring them together as a team, and so and he is the best person for that. He is the ultimate team motivator and team leader. He has a very he just has a super infectious personality.
It was funny because even the way he looks, it almost reminded me of I think it's Ned Flanders from The Simpsons, but not in a religious way like he is, but like just the same kind of attitude.
I know who you're talking about, Ned Flanders, but I don't know enough about Ned Flanders because I never really watched The Simpsons. So.
Yeah. But to me, he reminded me of him so much.
Just a super positive.
Yeah, super happy. Like,
super happy-go-lucky guy.
Doesn't like to. I mean, Ned Flanders is just like super Christian and stuff.
Okay.
So he's got like a slightly different thing, but their personalities are still like similar. Where he's just trying to do the good thing all the time and be friendly with everybody and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Now he is that guy. He's the guy that can sometimes be annoying. Like if you knew him in real life, you probably would get annoyed by him every once in a while because he just cares. He cares about you. He cares about everything. He just wants to make sure everybody is taken care of. Everybody is motivated. Everybody is feels like they're part of the team. All that good stuff. And it's not for nothing because it does eventually turn the club around, but as you can see in the story, it does have its I don't want to say negative impacts, but it takes a little while for people to take it.
Yeah, people just got to get used to it.
I think people just don't expect that in the world today.
No,
like
for sure.
people,
Especially as a coach, I would expect.
Like it's not a normal thing, so it takes a long time for people to accept it as genuine instead of a facade or a temporary thing. So, but it was really cool to see how he handled a bunch of different situations, and his honesty. Like he has complete candor. Like he's just like the one scene that's super funny to me in the first episode is when he sits down with Rebecca for the first time, and she offers him something to drink, and he's like, "Oh, anything with caffeine in it, coffee, this, that," and she's like, "Tea." And he's like, well, when in Rome, right? So he takes in.
Well, I love after it's just every time it's like, oh, I don't want that garbage.
Yeah.
Like just straight up, it's like, nope, that's trash.
Well, my favorite thing is he's like, he takes a drink, and she's like, so? And he's like, I always thought that tea would just taste like hot brown water. And I was right. I do not like that. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's so funny. And it was also it was cool to see, because we're American, right? We have the somewhat American culture, and it was cool to see the UK and the American cultures just mesh and butt heads sometimes.
Yeah,
and,
it was funny.
Yeah, he would say things sometimes, and everybody just kind of look at him and be like, what?
Yeah, maybe like here would be like a common phrase or something, and then they just wouldn't understand. It's like, oh, bad time or a bad place. Like,
yeah, it's pretty great. So, like I said, he comes over to coach this team. This is where the subplots and the layers of the story start to get involved. Okay, the first one is we find out that him and his wife aren't doing well. Like they are kind of headed towards a divorce, and so he took the job to kind of give her space and just create some distance, I guess, or whatever. So he took the job hoping that it would change things. And then on top of that, we find out that Rebecca, the team owner, she only took the club from her ex-husband just to run it into the ground, just to piss him off.
He loves it so much.
Yeah, because he loved owning the football club so much, and she just wanted to hurt him because he had an affair, cheated on her, and embarrassed her in front of the world. So she
hired Ted with the intent of expecting him to fail purposely to ruin his legacy.
She figured no way a American coach that knows nothing about European football would be able to come over here and actually succeed in this position.
Yeah, this was when I got to this point in the show. Like that's pretty early on, but it was just I enjoyed it so much when you learned this in the show, because I was like, typical Brit underestimating America.
I never thought about it like that. If I'm being honest.
Don't you worry.
Ted Lasso's gonna teach you a lesson.
You're gonna learn today.
So her intent was for him to fail so that it would, ultimately drive the club into the ground, and her husband would get upset because one of his favorite things in the world is not doing good anymore. And then, like we said, she didn't expect him to succeed, which he does. Not to the extent that you would think, but he definitely changes the culture within the building, and creates a team instead of it just being a bunch of individual people. Not only just individual players playing the game, but within the entire facility,
like the whole organization as a whole.
Exactly, it turned the organization into a team. Including Rebecca, and it was pretty cool to watch, her dance around, because on one hand she's trying to drive her husband's club into the ground, but on the other hand she's like, she's not falling for Ted Lasso, but just she's falling victim to his infectious personality of
she's
positivity.
slowly learning that she actually enjoys having him around and learning things from him.
Yeah, so she, the story progresses, and there's some other subplots involving other characters like Keely, who is she starts out as Jamie It's so great. I love it. It's amazing. It's so great. I know why you hate it, because the original song is annoying as hell, but it's so great.
I mean, it matches very well.
It's so good. Like
because I hate Jamie, but like
if he was a real player and I was in the stadium, I'd be singing along about Jamie Tart, Jamie Tart.
I do love the fact that just like him and Roy, like every time they come banter up, the whole crowd always just starts singing their songs and stuff, and it's great.
So she starts out as Jamie Tart's girlfriend. I don't think I have a picture of Jamie. Is he back here? No.
Surprisingly.
Huh?
He's featured heavily in the show.
Yeah,
but,
it's interesting.
These pictures, yeah.
But he's the star player of the team. He's the one that makes all the goals. He's the only bright spot of the team, really, currently, because AFC Richmond is on the bottom half of the league. And she's originally his girlfriend. He's a grade A dickhead. And, classic. To me, he's a classic elite athlete that's just full of himself.
Yep.
Like it's a perfect example of what you would expect from somebody like that. But he screws himself over and ends up losing Keely, which I really like Keely's character development and like her story arc. Because when she first came on the screen, I thought she was just going to be like a trophy kind of girlfriend that bounced around the team or whatever kind of thing. But she actually turns out to be like she does this like empowered woman arc that I'm sure a lot of females are happy about. But at the same time, it wasn't like fuck men or like screw you men. I'm a strong independent woman. She's just a strong woman that, occasionally needs men's help. But she ends up with Roy Kent, actually, like midway through the season or whatever, right? That whole like sequence is just so funny, because this guy, Roy Kent, he's just so blunt about everything.
He's great.
And it's amazing because it's like
basically if you take like to me, what he reminded me of is basically Simon Cowell from American Idol, like his personality, but you throw that onto an athlete, like a soccer player.
I'd say he's like a mix between Simon Cowell and Ron Swanson from Parks and Rec. He's like blunt.
Yeah.
He's blunt. He's English, so he's got the English attitude and the English temper. And he also thinks he just knows everything and is the man.
Yeah.
But it's great because
he's hilarious.
They're like because they're like not dating yet, but they're like flirting and stuff, or what he would be considered flirting, and it's just so funny. It's so funny to watch.
Yeah, I guess like the arguing between him and Jamie all the time is usually super funny, or just actually him just complaining about everything is funny, honestly.
Holy grandpa, if you're gonna take a shower, you gotta take off your shirt, or take off your sweater. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, if you have small children, wouldn't recommend having them around, because
if you care about language,
if you don't want them to hear the bad, because it's not like super laden with it, but they are English, and English people swear quite a bit. So I would be, especially when Roy Kent is on the screen.
Oh yeah, he always
swears all the time.
Yeah, pretty much every other word basically.
There's not any nudity, but there is like sexual innuendos and implications. Yeah, but not anything more than any other show that you would watch. So, the story progresses in the sense that the team starts to become cohesive and actually act as a team, right? And then they don't win any games, but they start tying games.
Yeah,
which is so weird to me, but whatever. I guess that's a soccer thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of things I learned because I honestly don't know a ton about soccer. So like, there's a lot of things I had to learn through the show. I'm like, that's weird.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm not an expert or anything. I definitely don't. I really only watch soccer like when it's the World Cup or the Olympics sometimes, but like, I really don't watch much soccer. But I do know a little bit here and there. But yeah, they start progressing as a team. Like we said, Ted Lasso's personality just starts to kind of infect everybody, and it gets to the point where like Rebecca is at a crossroads, right? She's at this point where she's still actively trying to run the club into the ground in order to piss off and hurt her ex-husband. But at the same time, she constantly is finding herself really enjoying being around the club, like being there, the games, the interaction she has with Ted Lasso,
the coaches, the
coaches, right? And then even Keely starts to become involved with the team and is around all the time, and then they start to become friends. And so it's cool not cool, but it's just the right amount of conflict within Rebecca, to make it interesting to see what she's going to do. Eventually she does, decide to...
I think she's like one of the last people.
Right. She's the last domino to fall. She's the last one to kind of say, screw it. I'm going to follow the Ted Lasso way. And you know what I really think did it for her? I think those biscuits probably just had a small dose of like weed or mushrooms or something.
Oh yeah, I guarantee. 100%.
So Ted Lasso get like on his first day of work or whatever, he brought Rebecca a box of cookies, or as they call them in England, biscuits. Weirdos.
I just thought that was actually funny to me because it's like, to me it was obvious. I mean, I guess just because we're the viewer, but like, because in the show, when she does like starts eating the biscuits that he brings every morning, and she loves it, of course.
Yeah,
and she tasks like her football director to like figure out where he's buying them. But it's like, come on, like I don't know if it's just like
I'll be honest,
American versus I knew full well that Ted was making those biscuits. Like, come on.
I guess I just didn't.
If I'm like because of how the kind of person that Ted is, there's no way he's just going out and buying something. Yeah, he's gonna make something, and it's gonna be with love.
With love, secret ingredient.
Yeah,
it like, as you explain it to me, it makes sense. But I'll be honest, when I was watching it, I didn't realize he was baking them until the scene of you see him.
It's like it goes over a few episodes of her trying to figure out, and he keeps bringing in her stuff, and they're like, nope, that's not it. And then eventually they show him Ted
actually
baking it. So
I'll be honest, I didn't know until that scene. So, but it doesn't surprise me that you kind of had it figured out. But yeah, I just didn't think he had the time, being a head coach of a football club.
It's Ted Lasso.
But
he's like, to me, it's like because of he's like such
like that Southern hospitality kind of thing.
Yeah, like because he's so like loving and stuff to everybody. To me, it's perfect sense. He probably wakes up early, bakes that stuff, gets coffee, comes in early, works late, and all that kind of stuff, which he does in the show.
All right, let me correct myself for those of you guys. It wouldn't be Southern hospitality because he's from Kansas, so it'd be Midwestern hospitality. My bad. Sorry. Pretty similar though.
Similar concepts.
Yeah, people go out of their way to make other people feel special and stuff. So, but yeah, it makes sense. I don't. When does she find out that? Was it in season 1 that she finds out that he's baking them?
Yeah, I think it's near the end. Probably between like episodes like
Man, I'm trying to remember at what moment she realized that he
6
was
and
baking
7.
them. I can't remember off the top of my head now.
I don't remember exactly. I know there's points after the fact that
Right.
reinforce it,
Right.
but I don't, because I know there was a moment when he's like,
Oh, he's kind of breaks down a little bit, right? And he's like, I don't even know why I stay up late baking these or something, right?
I think there might have been a moment like that, but there's one I'm thinking of where he's like, he gives it to her, and he's like, you know what? I'm not gonna lie to you, I was kind of like not myself this time, and he's like, I mixed up the salt and sugar, and
right.
and he's like, I'm so sorry, this is not what I normally like make or whatever, and she's like, you know what? It's interesting. I forget.
I think
But I don't remember
I
the
do kind
exact-
of remember something like that too.
Yeah, I don't remember the exact moment where he's just like he tells her that like
Yeah.
he bakes them.
But yeah. Eventually,
Because I think at some point she just straight out asks him like, where do you get these?
Oh
And he's
no,
like,
she does, and then she asked him multiple times, but he always says like, "Oh, if I tell you where I'm getting them from, then I wouldn't be able to bring you anymore." You know, biscuits with the boss.
Yep, biscuits with the boss.
Shoot. This the show has a happy ending, but the story doesn't have a necessarily happy ending, because after everything that Ted Lasso has done for the team, and after all the progress that they've made, they win some games. They actually lose Jamie Tart because he was on loan from Manchester, and they actually lose him because it was again Rebecca trying to ruin the club, so she got rid of her best player, which makes sense. But then they started figuring out a way to get better even without him.
Yep.
You know, and there's a lot of these episodes that are just super feel good. You know, it's just super feel good.
Yeah, there's a lot of feel good.
Especially when they go to, oh man, where did they go? What city was it? Liverpool the first time we see Ted Lasso have a panic attack or an anxiety attack.
I don't
remember the city name.
Yeah.
But they go on the road and they win, and it wasn't a match that they were supposed to win. They were supposed to have lost it. And so they go out, they celebrate. You know, we find out that Rebecca can sing, and she actually can sing well. And then it also just happens to be the night that Ted Lasso is supposed to sign his divorce papers. And he has like a little mini panic attack. And,
oh, that's right, because they go to karaoke.
Yeah, they go to the karaoke bar. And
I think it actually might have been Liverpool.
Is it? I think it's Liverpool. I don't want to say for sure because
I just remember there's a super annoying like commercial that Keely did.
Yeah, that Keely did for them.
them.
Yeah. The Asian tradition karaoke.
Yeah, she's like explaining all the different things.
But like I said, just so much feel good moments that just it's like one after another, honestly. And then the season ends with Richmond in their last game of the season. If they tie, they just have to tie. If they tie or they win, then they stay in the Premier League, which is the top league.
Yeah.
If they lose, then they drop down a league, like a division.
Get relegated.
Yeah, it's called relegation. They move down a league. So, you know, there's a lot riding on the game, and most stories are going to end with Richmond squeaking out a win or squeaking out a tie, especially because the team that they were playing is Manchester City, which is where Jamie Tart went to. So it's a revenge game, right? Because a lot of the players don't even like Jamie Tart because he was a dick to everybody. And so it was, there's a lot of emotion going on. It's a big moment for the team because it's their chance to finally show everybody like, hey, we're a different team now. We can actually compete in this at this level. Our coach isn't some crazy idiot that you guys all made him out to be at the beginning of the season. Like they actually have we're on the right track. And there was a feel good moment where they scored a tying goal with only like 3 minutes left or whatever in overtime, or not overtime but extra time. And so there's this big celebration because they were down and against a very superior team, and there's just kind of seemed like everybody lost hope, but then somehow they pulled together this last minute goal to tie the game so they don't go into relegation. But nope. Jamie Tart. Jamie Tart. So Jamie Tart.
They immediately run it back and score.
Kind of uses the celebration as like cover. Everybody's super stoked.
Nobody was paying attention.
And nobody was really paying attention too much, and he kind of just snuck through and scored a goal to win the game. And so, unfortunately, like I said, it's not a happy ending for the storyline because AFC Richmond does get relegated down into the league below Premier.
Yeah. I will say, though, like, as much as it sucked for the team to lose and that they dropped and whatever, but I did love the fact that they lost exactly how they wanted him to play for them as a teammate on their team.
Right.
Like, Jamie Tart, he got, essentially was...
He's a ball hog.
Yeah, like, he didn't actually get kicked out. I mean, he did by Rebecca, but they didn't know that.
Yeah.
But they were thinking about dropping him based on how he was as a player, and they
benched him. Remember, they benched him in one of the games because he wouldn't pass.
Right. And like Ted explained to him how he should, improve like a coach would.
Yeah.
And instead of doing that, he was just being himself.
Yeah.
And then as soon as he goes back to Man City, he does that. Yeah. And then wins the game.
And that's how they win the game because it's a very specific example because there's one play that they run where Jamie Tart is approaching the goal, and if he passes the ball over to his teammate that's to the left of him, they have a wide open shot on the goal.
Right.
But typically Jamie just shoots it himself because he
just wants to score the goal.
Yeah, he wants to be the one that scores the goal. And so it happens a couple times throughout the season where he doesn't do that, so eventually they bench him. And then he leaves, but then in the final game, like you said, he actually does what Coach Lasso.
That extra pass, and that's how that Man City wins the game on them.
Yeah. So, I really like when shows do this less than happy ending thing. If it's a one-off thing or a movie, like I'm a little less excited about it because. It sucks, whatever. But because this is a show and I know that there's a second season already, I like when it's like this, when the season ends and not the best ideal way. Because the storyline for the club, yeah, sure they got relegated, but the relationships and the things that Ted Lasso built at the club remained, and they stood the test, right? Because even after they did get relegated and they lost, Ted Lasso went up to Rebecca's office and was like, "Hey, I'll save you the trouble of having to fire me. I'll quit. This is on me." And she was like, "Nah, we got work to do next season."
Yeah.
Which is a huge moment because there only a couple episodes ago she was trying to, she wanted relegation. She wanted the club to be driven into the ground. So, in that sense, it's a happy ending, but. The club lost, and now they're in the Champions League, and they got some work to do, So I really like when shows do that. I don't know.
Yeah. I enjoyed it.
It makes it more realistic, I guess, because life ain't all sunshine and rainbows.
Yeah.
Man, it's so like, I thought when I first started doing this episode. I was just telling myself this is such a simple show, but the more I talk about it, it's there's a lot more to it than I originally was thinking about. Because we haven't even talked.
That was the thing that I think that I enjoyed so much about it is that it's a show about football, right? But
Right.
not really.
Not really. It's not
Like
about actually playing.
it's really
football.
just mostly on every single individual and how they are like connected to each other and stuff.
Right.
And
about
developing
family.
the characters. It is about family. It is indeed.
Yeah, because we haven't even talked about Nate, Coach Nate,
Yeah.
or Coach Beard, or we haven't even talked about like Jamie's dad and how much of a dick he is.
Right, like everybody's got their own
Yeah.
story going on in the show.
Which somehow this show figured out a way for everybody to have their own like storyline going, but at the same time it wasn't so complex that like you get lost or you're frustrated with having to keep track of everything. Like they do it for you. It somehow, I don't know how, but they do. It's probably just Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really good. Ted Lasso, we get to see some conflict in himself, because he does get a divorce from his wife, and he definitely seems like the kind of guy that like, if you knew him in real life, you probably would never expect him to get divorced.
Right.
You know, like that doesn't seem like something that would be an option to him, but he does get divorced from his wife, and it actually messes him up pretty good, which I wouldn't expect anything less. But yeah, I mean, it was a really sad moment now that I think about it, because he like ripped into Nathan at the door.
Yeah, which
That
was
really,
unusual.
It was a really sad moment. Yeah. Man. But yeah, it's really good. I really, really encourage you guys all to watch it. It's definitely one of those, like, it's something that I really enjoyed sitting down and watching with my wife, you know, a little family kind of thing. It's all about family.
It's about family. Always was.
What was your favorite scene of season 1? Or maybe, I don't know if you can bring it down to a specific scene, but just like what pops out at you the most? Because I'll tell you right now, I got mine. I know.
I don't know if I really have one, to be honest.
No?
But at least not off the top of my head.
Do you have a favorite character or?
I mean, like I said, Roy Kent is definitely up there for me.
He's there. He's there.
Like, I don't know. I guess maybe it's because I like in some kind of way I almost see like myself in a little way.
I would agree that I do see you in Roy Kent, in the fact that you're very matter of the fact. Like things are what they are, and stop being a dick to Nathan.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, even that, yeah. Nate was so good in this first season.
Yeah, in the first season, I love
Coach
Nate's
Beard is
character.
always super good.
Coach Beard is great. I love Coach Beard. Coach Beard is like outside of like if we're talking about like supporting characters, I think Coach Beard is my favorite because he has just this. He's so nuanced. He's the enforcer, right, of the coaching staff. Like he's the guy that everybody's supposed to be somewhat scared of or whatever. He kind of intimidates people, but at the same time, the dude is a nerd.
Like
he plays chess in his head.
He's all looks.
Yeah,
like he doesn't talk a lot, and
It's
he's
so
always
great.
got sunglasses on. He's always got like arms crossed, like in this
Yeah.
picture, and like he's got the look, but you just wouldn't
and the
know
talk,
it.
like
Yeah.
he yells at people and stuff, but he
well, to the players, yeah, but
yeah. But
outside of them, like he's so
he's
not
great.
at all what you would
He's
think.
a nerd because he plays chess in his head, and like he's with this girl on and off, and is like a simp for her basically.
And they both play chess together.
Yeah,
like,
it's so funny. Like it's another one of those like refreshing nuances things. Like he's the enforcer, but he also has this like softer side of him that nobody sees. That's just really funny to see the contrast. But as far as a favorite scene or a favorite moment for me, my favorite thing is the dart scene, dude, with Ted Lasso.
I did love
and
that a lot.
and then him just barbecue
that was
sauce.
another thing too that I was expecting that, but it was just so satisfying.
So satisfying. I will admit that I saw that scene prior to, because my dad showed it to me, because he made his gamer tag on his PlayStation barbecue sauce 808, and I was like, Dad, why barbecue sauce? Like, what? And he's like, hold on, I'll show you. And he pulled up the scene and showed me, because he says barbecue sauce at the end, right? And I was like, oh, that's dope. And then when I watched it in the season, it was even more satisfying watching it the second time.
Because when it happens, you're so like
you hate
attached to the characters now, and you hate the ex-husband so much that when it happens, it's just perfect.
And it's so like, it's just one of those classic Ted Lasso lessons.
Yeah. And like I said, I mean, I know it's not really the exact same thing, but it's another moment of like, oh, you thought you were going to get me?
Yep.
I don't think so.
No, it's so great. For those of you that haven't seen it, this is the last thing that I'll kind of explain to you guys, because I definitely think you should watch it. But he's in a bar, and the ex-husband is there, and he surprises Ted Lasso and Rebecca with the fact that he is now engaged to this new Rebecca
girl,
and she bought a part of the club.
Well, he gave her the money to buy,
because technically the ex-husband isn't allowed to own any of the club, but what he's skirting the system. And so, Rebecca's super upset, and the ex-husband is, throwing shade at her, telling her, oh, we're going to get rid of your dumb coach or whatever. And there's a dartboard behind him, and Ted Lasso's just nonchalant, picks up a dart. It's like, this is kind of cool. And he like throws it, and it like messes up. I don't even think he sticks it. I think it misses the board or whatever. And, the ex-husband is typical douchebaggery, just like you play a lot, you like
he
darts?
Just makes an immediate like
assumption
of him, and so Ted makes a bet with him,
right?
If the ex-husband wins, then Ted will quit.
No. If the ex-husband wins, then Ted will allow the ex-husband to make the starting lineup for every game for the remainder of the season. If
Ted won, then he wasn't allowed to come to
he wasn't allowed to come to the owner's box or be around the team at all.
Which there was one little thing about that kind of bothered me, and it was the fact that he actually can't anyways.
Technically, well,
because he's not. They were engaged, but he's not married, so he actually wouldn't have been able to do that until.
Yeah, later. But I'm sure
even if when they're married, he can only be there if she is there, because he's not the owner or whatever.
He's not the owner, no.
So he can only be with his wife there. But I mean, that's besides the point.
Yeah. So they make the bed, and then the husband pulls out like a custom set of darts, and he's like, "Oh, I forgot I had these.
Yeah. Totally not prepared.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not a douchebag." And then Ted is like, "Oh, I forgot I was left-handed." It throws a dart with the left hand, and it sticks. And at that moment, like you knew at least Ted was gonna give him a run for his money. But then the scene cuts to the ex-husband throwing some darts, and now he has this like gigantic lead on Ted, and there's only one possible combination for Ted to be able to hit.
Ted asked the bar owner, how much do I need to win?
It's like 2 triple 20s and a bullseye.
I was like, oh, okay.
Which is like, that's like the most points you could possibly score in one turn, and like it's insanely impossible insanely hard to hit, right? And Ted Lasso starts his lesson. He starts class. He rings the bell and starts class. He's like, hey,
starts giving his typical life story to explain.
A lot of people were mean to me. They just assumed.
Like, yeah, the biggest question they didn't ask was, like, I think in the moment he says, like, have you played darts before?
Right. He's like, well, he said that no one is curious anymore.
Right.
People just make assumptions, and when you're not curious, you fail to ask questions. Questions like, hey, Ted, have you played a lot of darts? And to which I would have responded,
yes. And then he hits
every weekend. It was like every weekend with my dad from age 10 to 16 before he passed away, and threw and hit one of the 20s. And then he, continues on about like, I don't know, something else. He throws another one, hits another 20. And then everybody's like freaking out. And,
Yeah, because all he's
Cause
got
it's
left
like all
is...
he's got to do is throw the bullseye, and then he lines it up and it's just barbecue sauce.
Yeah.
And it hits the bullseye and wins. It's great. It's my favorite. My favorite scene of season 1.
It's definitely a super good.
It's so satisfying. But yeah, guys, there's a lot of those kinds of feel good moments. A lot of lessons that Ted Lasso instills upon people throughout the series. And actually, a lot of lessons that you could probably take home and learn
I gotta
something
say,
from
there's
yourself.
a lot of things in the show that like sometimes there's like situations with characters that might feel very personal because you might relate to them a lot. And there's a lot of things that you can learn from the show. At least I would say for the most part that you can actually apply in real life.
Right. And it's not like, again, this is one of those things that somehow the producers and the writers or whatever, they figured out a way to intertwine these lessons and these things within the storyline without making them feel forced or like you're sitting down watching somebody give you a lesson about something. Right. They somehow threaded that needle and that line of intertwining those things without making you feel weird about it. So, good on you, Apple Plus. Good on you, Jason Sudeikis, and I'm excited for season 3. I'm excited to finish season 2. We will do an episode on season 2 in the near future. Let us know what you guys thought about season 1. Are you guys Ted Lasso fans? And what are you guys looking forward to going forward from here? So thank you guys for being here. We appreciate you. Please like, subscribe, comment, share with a friend, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.
He's there every fucking way. Roy can.
Roy can.